A very good morning, children. I wish a wonderful and memorable day to you. And yesterday and before yesterday, I have discussed about some previous class explanations, basics, and some fundamental theories proposed by J.J. Thomson, Ernest Rutherford, Niels Bohr. And from that, we got some information. So, on the basis of that information, we need to understand here. First, we are going to start about this lesson. We have spectrum here. So, I think you all are getting some doubts about this. In the chemistry, structure of atom, why we got about spectrum, about light, electromagnetic waves, what is this, why we need to understand all these, atom is different, light is different, so why we need, so for that understanding I would like to explain you some previous theories. So in that theories we have discussed about some defects. So Dalton's atomic model have some defects, and he explained atom is stable. Stability of atom given. Atoms neither be created nor be destroyed. Neither be created nor be destroyed. But different atoms of different elements are having different properties. Because, for example, here atoms of different elements are different properties, he explained. And atoms of same element are same in all properties, he explained. But we have one opposition to this. So we know about isotopes. We have studied about isotopes in 9th class. So what is isotopes, children? Isotopes and isobars we have listened. In IIT and in our regular syllabus we studied about isotopes and isobars. So isotopes meaning is, the definition of isotope is atoms of same element with different mass numbers. Atoms of same element with different mass numbers are called isotopes. For example, carbon 12, carbon 13, carbon 14, these are the isotopes. That means that is same number of protons but different number of neutrons. That's why mass number will change. So chlorine is also two types of isotopes. 75% is with mass number 35 in the atmosphere, and 25% is 37 with 37 mass number. That's why the atomic mass of the chlorine is 35.5 we will get from that. So those are the isotopes. So this is the contradiction to Dalton's theory. Atoms of same element but having yes different properties. Masses and chemical properties are different. Chlorine mass 35.5 and carbon having different mass number and different. So that's why properties are changing here for a same element. So atoms of same element are showing different properties and different masses. That's why this is the contradiction to Dalton's theory. So this is the drawback of Dalton's theory. So atoms of different elements may have same masses also. So that is the another point he given. Atoms of different element are different properties, he explained. But some atoms of different elements may show same mass. So different properties he given. Properties means that may be mass or maybe chemical property. But here different atoms, for example argon and calcium have mass number same 40 mass number. So these type of elements are called isobars. Different elements with same mass number are called isobars. So this is also a contradiction to Dalton's model. Coming to the defects of Rutherford atomic model, he explained planetary model. This model is also called as solar model or planetary model. By alpha particle scattering, he explained charged particle will generate some radiant energy continuously, he explained. So while that will happens means continuously when electron moves around nucleus should lose energy gets towards the nucleus. Energy released by the electron and energy lost by the electron, then it loses its energy and it closely nearer to the nucleus and falls down into the nucleus, then the atom will destroys. So here stability will fails but atom is stable. So in that way Rutherford atomic model failed. So coming to the Bohr's model, he explained stability of atom and how the electron revolves around the nucleus in different energy levels he explained, but he also failed to explain that alpha particle scattering and radiant energy. So light energy will produces here. So about that he failed to explain how spectral lines forms, and also he failed to explain hydrogen spectral lines because hydrogen is a single atom element, only one atom is there in that. So our electron places in different energy levels, he failed to explain how spectral lines forms in the case of hydrogen atom. He failed to explain. So coming to understand this, that's why we need light. We need to understand the nature of light, and in that way we need to learn about that light concept and the spectrum, electromagnetic spectrum, visible spectrum. In that manner we need to understand first, then after that we can understand the spectral lines and hydrogen spectrum we can understand. So for that I am selecting first, we know electrolysis process, we know in that cathode anode rays, we know cathode rays means electrons, anode rays means protons, gas rays these are. So coming to the magnetic field, north south poles, we have some idea about this. In the nucleus we have protons and neutrons, and electrons are revolving around the nucleus in circular orbits. This was explained by Bohr's atomic theory. So coming to the spectrum, we all know about rainbow, and the spectrum formed by the colors violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red, which are in a rainbow, we all know. So you can find the color spreading continuously and intensity of each color varies from one point to other point that we know. And in the first lesson we have studied the nature of light. So light rays always select straight line path, that we know. But coming to the wave nature of light is also having some wave nature. How it is possible? So for that first we need to start with some examples. If we throw something into a pond, some ripples will come. So we can observe some vibrations inside that. Sound waves also vibrations, having some vibrations, we know that. So coming to our lesson, our point of view. So electromagnetic waves are formed by electric charges, so vibrates back and forth. So in that way I want to tell you about the light concepts, diffraction and interference. First we need to understand those two types of light nature. So those are diffraction and interference. So while coming to the definitions of different types of natures of light, those are diffraction and interference. So light is we know that light is a transverse electromagnetic wave that can be seen by human eye. So diffraction means here, so it is for example it is a type of bending of light ray, how light selects wave path. So that's the reason to select this explanation. So diffraction, it occurs when light wave passes by and comes through an opening or slit. When that time it bends and passes. So that is the diffraction. Bending of light. Bending of light by it comes or through rainbow, through an opening slit. So bending of light ray according to the surface whichever it falls. So according to that surface it is bending somewhat. So that is diffraction. According to the falling surface it is bending and passing. That is called as diffraction. For example, rainbow, CD, DVD. These are all the examples for diffraction of light. And coming to the interference of light. Interference of light. So here diffraction is for understanding visible spectrum and circular orbits, how the electrons are moving and emitting some radiant energy. So for that purpose first we need to understand diffraction. And coming to the interference, interference is the two waves interfere with each other. Interference, the name itself telling two waves interfere with each other. And passing. So for understanding splitting of light, splitting of spectrum lines, splitting of lines, hydrogen lines, for that first we need to understand diffraction and polarization. For circular movement of the electrons and emitting light energy we need diffraction. And for splitting of lines and showing different colors of lines, for that first we need to understand interference of light. That's why I explained these two children. These are also useful for your further studies. That the electric charge or electron selects vibrating path. So vibrating electric charge creates a change in the electric field. That means the changing electric field creates changing magnetic field. So that's why here continuous process with both created fields being perpendicular to the each other like this. So here this is the electromagnetic wave. Magnetic field and electric field are perpendicular to the charge direction, wave direction. So these two fields are perpendicular to each other and perpendicular to the direction of the wave. So that's why here visible light is electromagnetic wave and speed of light c is 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second. That means the speed of the light in vacuum. So for that first I want to tell you the vacuum definition. So what is vacuum, children? Vacuum. So vacuum is the space where there is no matter. That is called as vacuum. So in our previous explanation I told about matter. Matter is everything around us. Everything around us is matter. That may be air, water or any substance or solid. So like that there is no matter, no air, no water, no solid. That is called as vacuum. The speed of the light in vacuum is c is equals to 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second. That is the speed of the light in vacuum. In this way The electric charge or charged electrons are selecting a wave path. Electromagnetic wave traveling through a vacuum behaves in some way like ocean waves. So ocean waves are the examples for this type of charge waves. So like ocean waves, electromagnetic energy is characterized by wavelength and frequency. Here we got two terms, wavelength and frequency we have. So for these two definitions, first I want to explain here. These are the waves. So the frequency waves are like this. So here peaks back and forth. These are the two peaks. So the distance between these two peaks is called as wavelength, and the number of peaks per 1 second is called as frequency. Distance between two peaks is called wavelength. So lambda we can denote with lambda. And coming to the frequency is number of peaks per 1 second. That means mu is equals to, or else lambda is equals to 1 by mu. So number of peaks per 1 second is mu, and lambda is equals to 1 by mu. So here wavelength is the distance between two peaks, and coming to the frequency, it is the number of peaks per. I think you understood, children. Here I explained with the transverse waves of light, electromagnetic waves and transverse waves of light. So here we are getting one more point. Transverse waves we listen newly. So what is transverse wave and what is longitudinal wave? So in the sound lesson we have studied in IIT, and in our regular class in 8th class you studied about longitudinal waves and transverse waves. Longitudinal waves means the waves are in which the displacement of the medium is in the same direction or in the opposite direction to the direction of propagation of the wave. So the waves are like this, in the same direction all. And while coming to the transverse waves, a moving wave whose oscillations are perpendicular to the direction of the wave, like this, in the direction of wave. So perpendicular, the oscillations are in the perpendicular direction to that waves. Vibrations are perpendicular to the direction of wave. So like this crest and trough we get. This height is called as amplitude, and this is called as transverse wave of sound, light and electromagnetic. Here we are discussing about electromagnetic wave, and transverse wave we are considering about that lambda wavelength, the distance between two peaks. So I'll get two throws and two crests. The distance between two throws and two crests is called as lambda. So I am coming to the frequency. Number of peaks per second, number of cycles per second is called as frequency. So we need to understand about this frequency. For that purpose I explained all this. Here C is equals to mu lambda. So this you should remember still well. And coming to the electromagnetic spectrum. Here we got the information about wavelength and frequency. And coming to the electromagnetic spectrum, electromagnetic waves can have a wide variety of frequencies. The entire range of electromagnetic waves frequency is known as electromagnetic spectrum. Electromagnetic waves can have wide variety of frequencies, and the entire range of electromagnetic wave frequency is known as electromagnetic spectrum. Different frequencies of waves are there. That wide variety of frequencies combinedly entirely is called as electromagnetic spectrum. This is the definition for electromagnetic spectrum. And coming to the visible spectrum, each and every color in the rainbow characterized by a specified wavelength. So here we are getting C is equals to mu lambda, and coming to the lambda is inversely proportional to 1 by mu. That means higher frequency, lower wavelength, lower frequencies, higher wavelength, like that. So each color in a rainbow is characterized by specified wavelengths from red to violet. Red color is higher wavelength and violet lower wavelength. These colors of wavelength, in between these colors only human eye can able to see, human eye can sensitive. So we have so many types of wavelengths, rays, ultraviolets to infrared and ultraviolet. In between only we are having visible spectrum. Human eye can able to see these only. Higher wavelength is 700 nanometers and lower 400 nanometers. In between these two range only, these two types of rays only human eye can able to see. That is called as visible spectrum. So electromagnetic spectrum consists of continuous wavelengths, gamma rays at shorter wavelengths to radio waves longer wavelengths. So gamma rays to radio waves, in between ultraviolet rays and infrared rays, that range only human eye can able to see. That is electromagnetic spectrum. Inside of that, visible spectrum. In the electromagnetic spectrum, again visible spectrum, which is sensitive to human eye. Human eye can able to see only visible spectrum, that rainbow colors. We have gamma rays to radio waves. So lower wavelengths are gamma rays and higher wavelengths are radio waves. In between we can only able to see infrared rays to ultraviolet rays, to infrared rays. That is visible spectrum. Inside of the electromagnetic spectrum we have visible spectrum. This is up to here. And coming to our lessons explanation, lower energy, we have energy levels. So in our atom structure we need to understand the energy levels around the nucleus, different energy levels. In that energy levels electrons can revolve. So for that purpose first we need to understand rather than wavelength and frequency, we need to understand about energy levels. So energy is the concept we need to understand. So lower energy corresponds to higher wavelength, and as temperature rises it glows orange, yellow, blue, like that. So here we have taken one example. First in the textbook they have given iron rod, heat energy we need. Energy is emitting light, that we know. So heat energy will emits light. So lower energy corresponds to higher wavelength. If we raise the temperature to that iron rod heating, it glows orange, yellow, blue, higher energy and lower wavelength. So higher energy is lower wavelength and lower energy corresponds to higher wavelength. That's why E is also inversely proportional to lambda, that is E is equals to h mu. Planck proposed a continuous energy tradition. He given one formula, E is equals to h mu. Here h is the Planck's constant and this is the h value. Planck's constant value 6.626 into 10 to the power of minus 34 joule second, and mu is the frequency radiation observed or emitted. So this is the Planck's equation, energy equation, the energy for a certain frequency. So why we got here energy term, we know. Temperature, by heating we emit light energy, we can emit light energy. So from that concept Planck introduced this equation. So the energy for the red color, higher wavelength, that means lower frequency, because wavelength is inversely proportional to frequency, that we know. The energy of red color, higher wavelength, lower energy is lower compared to the energy of the blue color, like that. So energy is lower for red color and wavelength is high, frequency is low, energy is also low. So frequency is directly proportional to energy and wavelength is inversely proportional to energy. So the energy emitted from a material body increases with increase in heat energy. Energy will increases with increase in heat energy. So that's why finally Planck proposed that electromagnetic waves are not continuous in manner because of the temperature variation. The energy values, electromagnetic waves energy values will discrete values, he explained. So because of this, luminous means shining, non-luminous flame and luminous flame. So according to those explanations, scientists finally found that each element emits its own characteristic color. So these colors corresponding to certain discrete wavelengths of light and are called line spectra. Why we are getting splitting of light and why we are getting different colors and different wave due to the different frequencies and wavelengths and different temperatures, due to that the change in energy, continuous and discrete energy levels we got. So from that explanation we got all these points. Finally, how line spectra scientists explained, we got information from these all explanations. So this is somewhat difficult to understand, children. Just read the textbook and learn all these points and observe some points from these and listen one more and more times this video and understand this all concept. And coming to the Bohr's model of hydrogen atom and limitations, we will discuss in the next class.